Okay, so now we are going to do, it'll be problem A from example 2. So this is page 15 of your notes packet. Again, this is lesson 5. We're going to do the first problem A on page 15. All right, so we're going to follow the same process here. It's letting me know I'm going to get irrational solutions for this one, which means I'm going to end up with a square root in my answer. All right, you guys will see it. My first step is I need to put it into standard form. Okay? To do that, I can either move everything over to this side or vice versa. For me, I'm going to go ahead and move everything over to this side so I maintain a positive x squared value. So in order to do that, I would need to subtract 2x and subtract 5 from this side. Well, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Negative 2x and minus 5. This will all cancel out to 0, and I'll have x squared minus 2x minus 5 equals 0. And now it's in standard form because all of the terms are on one side with a 0 on the other, and I'm going in descending order for my exponents. I have x squared, and then x, and then a constant. Cool? You guys with me on the right problem? Morgan, can you copy this down so if you decide to do it later on, you can know how to do it? So my next step is going to be to identify my A, my B, and my C. Sam, what's my A equal to? Well, it would really be the coefficient out in front of the x squared. And since they don't show me one, it's a positive 1. Good job. What's my B equal to? It's the coefficient in front of the x. So a negative 2. Good job. What's my C equal to? Negative 5. Right? Good. So I got my A, B, and C. I need to start by just writing out that quadratic formula. Again, that's negative B plus or minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. And now I substitute my values in, my A, B, and C. I substitute those in. Negative B, well, that would be a negative 2. That would be a positive 2. Right? So actually, maybe I should write it out as negative B would be a negative 2. Plus or minus the square root of B squared. Now this is super important. This always trips people up. My B value is a negative, means I need to put it in parentheses before I square it, so that I get a positive value when I square it. If you don't do that, you're going to get wrong. So I have a negative 2 in parentheses squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 5. And all of that is being divided by 2 times 1. So now I'm going to come through and I'm going to simplify. You guys have any questions at this point? So I'm just going to come through and simplify as much as I can. A negative 2 becomes a positive 2. Plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared becomes a positive 4. And that's key. Minus 4 times 1 is 4 times negative 5 would be a negative 20. So I end up with minus a negative 20 right there. All of that divided by 2. Then I have 2 plus or minus the square root of 24 over 2. All right, and at this point, we're just like the warm-up problem B that we did. We just need to simplify this expression. So starting with the square root of 24, how can I simplify that? 24 is not a perfect square number, but 4 is. And 4 times 6 is equal to 24. So I have the square root of 4 times the square root of 6. The square root of 4 is a 2, and so I end up with 2 times the square root of 6. That's how I simplify that radical. Right? So when I come down here below, I'm going to have 2 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 6, and all of that being divided by 2. So since I have a 2 here, here, and here, hang on just 1 second, Ben. Since I have a 2 here, here, and here, I can go ahead and simplify this. They essentially cancel each other out, and I get 1 plus or minus the square root of 6.
Can I talk now?
Yes, which question?
How do you imagine the negative in the parentheses?
Right here?
No, right next to it.
Right here.
See that there's a negative in the parentheses and a negative outside, right next to the negative 4. That's negative 4. How do you imagine get another negative? How do you imagine get negative 20?
I got a.
When those two negatives cancel each other out.
Yeah.
To make a positive.
I'll tell you what. Let me just finish this problem real quick, and then I'll come back. That's a good question. In just a second, all right? So the first answer here. So I have 2 answers right here, but I just need to separate them. My first answer is going to be x equals 1 plus the square root of 6. Second answer is x equals 1 minus the square root of 6. All right? So this is my final answer. Right there, those are my 2 solutions. Again, if I took those and plugged them back in for x, they should make that equation true. Now, as to Ben's question, and then we'll do a bathroom break after that, Morgan. Ben, your question was, how did I get this minus 20 right here, right?
Yeah.
I got that minus 20 because I had a 4 times a negative 5. And I kept this minus separate out in front. So this minus came down and became this minus right here. And I ended up with a positive 4 times a negative 5 gave me a negative 20.
I did not know that was possible.
Sure, you can do it that way. The other way you could do it is a negative 4 times a negative 5, and that would end up being plus 20, which is what we ended up getting down here anyway because we had minus and negative. So it ends up being a plus 20 eventually either way. Okay? If that's still not clear, then let me know. We'll explain to you a little bit further. So we'll do a bathroom break. All right.